Hey guys, and welcome to today's lesson, which will be the arc length of parts of circles. Now, first of all, before arc length seems confusing to you, a circle, is just a continuous curve that goes around a central point. That's what a circle is. An arc length is a fancy way of saying this entire outside bit. It's the arc of a circle. So basically, arc length stands for circumference, okay? What you're trying to find is the circumference of parts of circles. So this is basically what we do. First of all, we acknowledge that we have two formulas for finding the circumference of a circle. Circumference equals 2 times pi times r, or we can use circumference equals pi times diameter, okay? Now, usually what you would do is I would give you a circle. So let's pretend I give you this circle over here, and I tell you that this measurement is 4. Well, you know that that 4 stands for the radius because it's half of the distance from one side of the circle to the other. You know that pi equals 3.14. So what you do is you use the formula with the radius, and you're going to do circumference equals 2 times pi times r. So circumference equals 2 times pi, which is 3.14, times r, which is 4. So you go ahead and you multiply that. You can use a calculator, and you get your final answer, which is the circumference equals 25.12. Now, if you want to find the circumference for a part of a circle, it's actually pretty easy. There are going to be three different parts of circles, okay? So the different parts of a circle that you can have are a quarter, half, and 3/4 circle. Super easy. So you can basically have a quarter circle, you can have a half circle, and you can have a 3/4 circle, or as I like to call it, a Pac-Man circle, okay? This is 3/4, this is 1/2, and this is 1/4. You solve it the same way that you usually would. So let's say I tell you this measurement is 3. This right here is the radius of a whole circle, right? It's just a radius. You have to pretend that the whole circle is there. So if radius equals 3, you have to find a solution. Radius equals 3, pi equals 3.14, so that's circumference equals 2 times pi times r, which is 2 times 3.14 times the radius, which is 3. Okay, so in the calculator, 2 times 3.14 times 3 equals your final answer of 18.84. Or is it? Remember, 18.84 would be the circumference of the whole circle. But you're not finding a whole circle's circumference, you're finding a quarter of a circle's circumference. So since this is a quarter of a circle, you're going to take the answer that you just got and multiply it times 1/4. That's all you have to do, times 1/4, and that will give you your final answer of 4.71. Remember, it's circumference of parts of circles. All right, let's move on to the second example. So for here, let's say I tell you that this length right here is going to be 8. Okay? This length is a diameter, not a radius. So I'm going to go ahead and do circumference equals pi times diameter. Circumference equals pi, which is 3.14, times the diameter, which is 8. Okay, let's try it out. 3.14 times 8 equals 25.12. And obviously, you just found the circumference for the whole circle. You need to remember you only want half of a circle. So you're going to take your 25.12 and multiply that times 1/2. 25.12 times 1/2 equals 12.56. Boom, there's your final answer. Let me go ahead and give you one other example with this. Let's say I give you this circle, obviously it's half a circle, and I tell you that this measurement right here is 2. That measurement is half of the distance from one side of the circle to the other. So that measurement is actually your radius. Okay? So this is your radius. And if you're using your radius, you're going to use this formula. So let's go ahead and start. Circumference equals 2 times pi times r. Circumference equals 2 times 3.14 times my radius, which is 2 in this case. And that will give me 12.56. And remember, you're not done yet. You are finding the circumference of half the circle. So you take your 12.56, you multiply it times 1/2, and you get your final answer, which is going to be 6.28. Now, what we're going to do here for the final example should be pretty straightforward to you guys. You're going to find the circumference of the circle usually, and then all you do is you're going to multiply it by 3/4, since we're dealing with 3/4 of a circle. Let's say that I tell you that this measurement right here is 5. This measurement from here to here is clearly the radius. So radius equals 5. Okay? So we're going to use the formula that has a radius in it. Okay, circumference equals 2 times pi times r. Circumference equals 2 times 3.14 times 5, which when we multiply it gives me 31.4. But remember, you don't want the circumference of the whole circle. You want it of this part of a circle. So what you're going to do is you're going to take 31.4, multiply it by 3/4, and you get your final answer, which will be 23.55. Okay? And that is your lesson on the arc length or circumference of parts of circles.